Where's Ryan? Where's Ryan Clark? Everybody's backpedaling and apologizing, but Ryan Clark seems to be missing. And you know what happened when D'Angelo Barksdale wouldn't do what everybody else did? When everybody else, swallowed the bullet and played their role and did the right thing, and D'Angelo wouldn't, Stringer was like, oh, man, your days are numbered. As soon as I can get you, I'm getting you. And I think that's what's going on with Ryan Clark. He understands like, oh, man, this is another mistake that I made. I'm going to ignore it and hope that it goes away, because he's the only one that hasn't come out and confessed that, oh, yeah, I screwed this up. I tried to turn the police into the villains, and they've just framed an innocent young black man, Kyren Lacy. He's innocent. Everybody knows he's innocent, that the police have framed him. He didn't drive into the wrong lane at a high rate of speed in what is believed to be a no passing zone. He played no role in this accident that took an old man's life. He was framed by racist state troopers and racist black truck drivers that all blamed him for driving the wrong direction. And months later, he committed suicide. Did he really? And again, if you remember The Wire, for those of you that watched it, Stringer Bell eventually faked a suicide or framed D'Angelo as someone that committed suicide in prison to get rid of D'Angelo Barksdale. Great job, Scott Van Pelt. I probably would have done a little more, but I feel like Scott Van Pelt did enough. I feel like Pat McAfee did enough. And this isn't me trying to be a groupie for these guys or cape up for these guys. They made a mistake. They owned it publicly on air. The information, you got to dig a little hard to find Scott Van Pelt's. You had to watch it last night, or you got to go to my Twitter feed to find it now. The cover-up does raise some eyebrows about what's going on at ESPN. When I call it a cover-up, it's a small cover-up. This information should be easy to find. Like Scott Van Pelt and his ESPN, they should have tweeted out his apology. It should be easily available on the internet. But they're probably scared to death because someone in law enforcement in Louisiana may decide to sue ESPN. And I'm sure ESPN is petrified of being sued because what was done was irresponsible. They basically accused law enforcement in Louisiana of framing Kyren Lacy. And the first question you have to ask when someone framed for what? What would be the purpose in framing Kyren Lacy? What win would they've just jailed and incarcerated a young black man? That's not hard to do in America. I mean, let's be real. A lot of black men volunteer for incarceration. You don't need to hunt them down and frame them to lock them up. Many of them volunteer. They choose a life of crime, and they don't hide it. They dress like criminals. They present themselves like criminals. They want to be mistaken for being criminals. But Ryan Clark and others, and I'm going to get to you, RG3, think that there's got to be a massive plot to convict young black men of crimes. As if there aren't a lot of, hey, I'm doing crime. I'm making music about doing crime. I'm presenting myself with my pants hanging off my butt and my language and everything that says I'm a criminal. I want to be mistaken for a criminal. It's the cool thing. But Ryan Clark and others think man, no, there's a secret plot by all of these white people and races and sellouts like Jason Whitlock. that are making these guys look like criminals when they're really just young men with straight A's and going to church every Sunday, and they're just trying to live their best life. This is the buffoonery and clownishness that ESPN has seemingly embraced and promoted. That Ryan Clark continues to hold on to a platform. Monday Night Football with Scott Van Pelt. On air with Stephen A. Smith on First Take. On air with Greeny and all that Ryan Clark seems to be one of the big prominent faces of ESPN. And his agenda, every time he gets an opportunity, is, hey man, there's a systematic plot to destroy young black men, and it's being executed by law enforcement. There is a systematic plot to make black men think that they're criminals and that they should present themselves as criminals. You never hear Ryan Clark talking about that plot. That black men have been brainwashed into believing that the coolest, blackest, most positive thing they can do is present themselves so that people think that they're criminals. And then they can pretend like, man, you're racist for thinking I'm a criminal. Yes, I dress like one. Yes, I talk like one. Yes, I have gold chains and gold teeth and tats all over my body. And yes, I'm doing everything in my power to present myself as a criminal. But you're racist for thinking it. I want to refresh your memory on Ryan Clark and what he did Monday night and drug Scott Van Pelt and everybody into this mess. I just want to refresh your memory for those that have forgotten. Let's play SOT number 3.
Yes, please. Yes. I beg your pardon. I did want to clear space for this.
1 second, please.
This is important.
Yes, guys, Kyren Lacy was supposed to be in the NFL. Kyren Lacy was accused of something and being investigated for something that he didn't do, and he died having to live with the guilt and the consequences of a guilty man knowing he was innocent. It recently was discovered that he was 72 yards away from the crash, that police and state policemen tried to coerce and doctor and use ways to manipulate statements that put this young man behind bars. They changed his joy, they changed his life, and eventually he took his own life. This was supposed to be a career, but at least he was supposed to be here. At some point throughout his career, I would expect to have said his name. So I'm going to say his name.
And run it back to, this was supposed to be a career, but Ryan Clark says something very, very nonsensical. I need to hear it again. And I've heard this, I've watched this several times. This is the first time I really caught and listened very intently to this man is talking complete nonsense. Could we play it again or back it up to that point or just play the whole thing again? Whatever we need to do. I need to hear that again. Play the clip.
This was supposed to be a career, but at least he was supposed to be here. At some point throughout his career, I would expect to have said his name. So I'm going to say his name tonight. Kyren Lacy.
Let me hit pause again. This was supposed to be a career, but at least he was here. Is he trying to do a rap song in the middle of this? Did he go full Bad Bunny here? This was supposed to be a career, but at least he was here. What the hell is he talking about? What is ESPN doing? And I'm telling you, I'm somewhat reluctant because I believe in free speech and you gotta, but there's gotta be some standard. It just can't be, hey, I'm the angry black man, I'm doing the angry black man shtick on ESPN. There has to be some standard of logic, believability, attachment to reality. This is, for those of us my age, Saturday Night Live used to do skits about guys like this. This was back when we used to do humor and when we were secure enough to make fun of the idiots that would present themselves and put themselves on platforms and be. Ryan Clark used to be the guy that, there would be an event in your neighborhood and there'd be some ghetto guy that the TV camera, the TV news crew would put a microphone in front of his face and everybody would be sitting around, here they go. They had to find the dumbest guy in the neighborhood to put on the local news to say something stupid. And does anybody remember, again, you got to be old to remember this, but Saturday night, kill my landlord in the middle of the night simply because he's white. Does anybody remember? That's who Ryan Clark is. And now he has a platform on ESPN, and he's paid a couple of $1 million to go on ESPN in one of these outfits of his. What's the blue thing wrapped around his arm? Kill my landlord in the middle of the night simply because he's white. What are we doing? What does ESPN do? Do they have no standards? Do they think this little of black people that they would put a football clown on and give here's the microphone, you investigate crimes in real time, and you point your finger and scold the world on ESPN on Monday Night Football in front of millions of viewers? Ryan, the floor is yours. What's his qualifications? How many of these mistakes does he get to make? How many apologies does Ryan Clark have to make before ESPN says, hey, man, this is apology, man? He's not a football analyst. He's a guy that comes on and makes dumb racist statements that he later has to apologize for. This is crazy.
If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.